Well, hello, and welcome to After the Show. I'm your host, Crystal Vilkaitis. And did you love Lisa's episode? Like, are you so inspired to sell books and carry books? I was really inspired, and in fact, so inspired that I do have a favor that I'm going to ask at the end of today's episode. Personal request. But before I do that, as I listened through to this episode, there were so many great tips and inspiration. But my big takeaway was I feel like you can literally do anything in business. Let's just say business. Okay. You can literally do anything that's weird, wacky, wild, super creative, out of the box, and it can sell. For example, Lisa mentioned the book, Your Pasta Sucks. And it was a comedian who wrote about pasta. And as I was listening to that, I was just like, people can literally do anything. And I think that we can sometimes hold ourselves in this perfect little box, but I need to be this way. I need to play by these rules. We kind of trap ourselves. We limit ourselves. And I am speaking from my own personal experience. I have definitely struggled with this over the years. And in fact, I think it's been harder sometimes for me because I started my career so young, and I felt, this isn't necessarily true, but I felt like I had to be a certain way to be respected, to be taken seriously. And so I was very kind of strict and had a lot of rules. And that did mean that I have a great reputation and we've built a good business. But I maybe wasn't as totally myself or as much personality or as creative as I like to do. I held back some of those parts because I felt like I had to be a certain way. And I have to believe I'm not alone in that. And so I want to, in this After the Show, give you 3 ways to spark creativity, different ways of thinking to allow you to create different ideas within your store. And so I did some research and I came up with these. Through my research, I hand selected 3 ideas. There's a lot of cool stuff that you could do out there to unlock your creativity, but I want to focus on 3 things, and then I'll give you some examples, especially towards the end. So the first is, what if you did an opposite day? So this is where you're really looking at something that maybe you're trying to create, you're trying to do. And what if the complete opposite was true about it? So what we're doing here is we're going to take a core concept, and let's use a boutique, for example. In a clothing boutique, in fashion, we want the newest, fresh styles, right? Like what's trending, what's new, what's hot, what's coming. Well, the opposite of that, we take that core thought, the opposite of it is older trends, last season stuff. And so with this way of sparking creativity, we take the core idea, we flip the script, turn it completely opposite, and then we start brainstorming some really fun ways to make the opposite thing valuable and something that we could actually turn into in our store. So with this boutique idea, what if you did a whole campaign around last season's fashion or, like older styles, and it was a funny social media campaign? You could do an event about it. You've got to come dressing in your 90s clothes. Something that is just talking about older styles versus fresh styles. Or like for a toy store, you want toys that are engaging and helpful and educational and fun. And the opposite of that is boring. So how could we take boring toys and turn that into something within our store? That could be a product-based, promo-based, event-based, social media campaign. You could have a campaign that's like the world's most boring toy now sold at our store. Like, it's going to make people laugh. And when we interrupt people's thought process and what they're normally used to seeing, that's the stuff that's engaging and that they remember and often makes them laugh or share or save, especially from a social media perspective. So I love this idea of just really focusing on the opposite, flip the script. If you're working on anything, an upcoming event, promo, products you're bringing in, what is the opposite of it? And have some fun with that. So that's the opposite day exercise. The next thing I want to talk about is dreamstorming. So this is where, if we're wanting to unlock our creativity, because as we're seeing in the world, you literally could do anything. Like, again, to just like double tap on this thought, I talk about this in my presentations. Dogface Nathan, who on TikTok in 2020, he grabbed his skateboard, a bottle of Ocean Spray cranberry juice, skateboarded drinking cranberry juice, and added the song Dreams by Fleetwood Mac, posted it on TikTok, and it got 45 million views, sold out of cranberry juice. I mean, it was ridiculous. Like, people can literally do anything. His whole life changed from that one video of skateboarding with cranberry juice. I mean, okay, so we're unlocking creativity, and dreamstorming is where, let's say that we have an idea or something that we're trying to work on, or promo, campaign, event, something that's coming up in store or online that we're really trying to give a little extra love and attention to. You could, before you go to bed, write it down. And then I want you to just take a couple minutes to really think about it and visualize yourself solving this problem, like waking up in the morning, having the answer. And then you'll go to bed with a pen and paper by your table in case you wake up, or by your bed in case you wake up. You write it down immediately and then try that. And it might not work that first night, but I will tell you what, now I'm going to get a little woo woo here, but I will do things where before I'm falling asleep, I'm just like, spirit guides, I'm working on this. Can you give me some direction, or can you give me some tips, or can you send me a sign? Or I'll sometimes be playful and be like, I want to have a lot of fun in my dreams tonight. Like, can we make that happen? And then you just kind of like trust it and go to sleep. And then sometimes it works. And honestly, sometimes it doesn't. But man, I have gotten answers. I have gotten signs. I have just worked things out. Like, right as I'm waking up, I'll have the answer. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what it is. That's what we need to do. So I think this can also really help with your creativity and sparking new ideas or solving problems, just allowing your subconscious mind to come in and support you in the creativity. The Rooted in Retail Mastermind is live. I am so excited. This is my way to help our retailers be even more successful and be more hands-on with your store. Now, what you're going to get as a mastermind member is I'm going to help you get found online in your local communities. It's all about visibility. I'm going to help you create meaningful connections so you're memorable and start building those relationships. I'm going to help you master customer experience so people choose you time and time again, increasing loyalty. And I'm going to help you make more money. There is a lot of education. There's Q&A sessions with me. I bring in other pros on all sorts of retail topics to really support you in your business. Plus, as a mastermind member, you get access to our Get Listed software, where this is a done for you service. We increase your online visibility, again, helping you get found and growing your digital footprint. If you're interested in becoming a part of this incredible community, go to rootedinretail.com/mastermind. And I can't wait to see you on the inside. Okay. And then the third way that we can unlock some creativity and just do some wild stuff in our store, because why not, is the forbidden combinations method. And this is where we're taking two things that would never go together. Like, they're forbidden. We would never put those two things together. So for example, yoga is so zen and peaceful and amazing. And what would be forbidden to go with yoga? Well, a haunted house. I hate haunted houses. I hate being scared, but I really like scaring people. I'm an easy scare. And I love yoga. Could you imagine those two things going together? That would be awful. There's no way I'm feeling zen and relaxed in a haunted house while I'm doing yoga. But if we combine those two and we just start asking, like, let's say you have a yoga studio and you've got merchandise. What if I did combine these things together? What could that look like? And honestly, you guys know I'm going to talk about AI. Go to AI. And if you're having a hard time coming up with some of the forbidden combinations, tell AI what kind of store you are and products, and then it will give you combinations. And then you can use this as a tool where you're going back and forth, really brainstorming and developing something very unique. So another example from like a fashion, we'll stay on that apparel perspective, high-end luxury fashion suits that are, $10,000, dresses that are 8,000 plus. What would be forbidden with that kind of combination? It might be food and beverage. It might be a bakery. You've got these delicious muffins and cookies and brownies, and you would just never, you don't want to get that close to these dresses and suits, right? So these are a forbidden combination. But whether you're brainstorming by yourself with your team, you're journaling, you use this as your dream. I keep wanting to say dreamscaping, but it is your dreamstorming, not dreamscaping. It's like brainstorming, but dreamstorming. Hey, here's these 2 forbidden things, and give me some ideas on how I could play with these in my store. AI can help you too. So, let's say that you are a bookstore. Oh, going back to my apparel example though, before I go into book. Apparel, so if we take the luxury fashion with bakery, well, we could come up with an idea where we do a fashion show that is inspired by our favorite desserts. So maybe we don't actually have the desserts there. Maybe you do, but we've got really fun colors, blueberry colors and brownie colors, and maybe even designs, patterns that have desserts on them. And we're combining these 2 forbidden things. Or let's say that you have a bookstore, and this is something I got from AI, which I think is super fun. If you take a bookstore, quiet, peaceful, which is so perfect for this after the show with Lisa Bach. And we talked all about books. So, which of course, she's talking about selling books in all sorts of businesses, not just a bookstore, but let's say we have a bookstore. It's peaceful, it's quiet, it's wonderful. And we partner the forbidden a rock concert. Loud, noisy. Those are 2 totally different opposite like combos. And so we put those together, and AI came up with, instead of just an author signing event with music, what if musicians performed live interpretations of book plots? That is going to get people there. Like, that's kind of a hard thing to pull off, but I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe there is a local musician in your town that can easily is maybe doing something like this. You find somebody on TikTok, you ask somebody, hey, I know you're talented. Could you create a plot? Here's the things that I want from this book. And then you perform it. Like, how engaging is that? That is memorable. That is like next level, in my opinion. If you continuously do that, I think that would be an easy sellout event. So those forbidden combinations. So we've got the opposites, which is sort of like the forbidden. But when you go forbidden, it's like we're going a step further, not just opposite. We're really looking at like what would be like unacceptable to put together, and let's try to put it together. So these are different ways you can see your mind thinks differently. What's opposite? What's forbidden? What if I combine these things? How do I leverage them? And then we can use our dream storming. I really want to say dreamscaping, dreamstorming to solve answers, get more ideas, really play in our subconscious mind while we sleep. A couple more ideas with this forbidden before we conclude this episode. So again, this is from AI. For store experience, what if a hardware store hosted a poetry slam, or a boutique did a silent disco fashion show where attendees wore headphones and dance for marketing? What if a jewelry store did an escape room experience where customers unlock treasure chests? I personally love escape rooms. I think that would be so cool if retailers integrated. In fact, we actually have a store here in Fort Collins that is more consignment store downstairs, and then upstairs they have an escape room. So that's a great way, because you have to walk through the store to go to the back to then go upstairs. And when you're waiting for your time, because they say come early, then you're shopping, then you go through the store and you shop afterwards, which is exactly what we did when we were there. So smart addition to that store. Also product development. What if a pet store sold candles that smelled like freshly baked dog treats for dog lovers? I don't know about that one, AI. It doesn't always get it right. It does say that a real world example, the Museum of Ice Cream, which is an interactive experience blending art and ice cream, was born from this kind of thinking. And in fact, I've seen that. I think that's in New York City. I'll have to go in there. I love different ways of thinking. My brain thinks very differently in a lot of ways. And I stifle that sometimes. And I'd really like to bring that out more in my business. And I feel like I'm bringing that more out into this podcast. So that's really fun for me. So thanks for listening. And I mentioned at the beginning of this episode that I have a favor to ask, sort of a personal favor. As I was sitting down with Lisa during this episode, and then as I listened to it back, I really want to write books. And if you know me, you know this. Like this isn't a secret. I talk about it. I think I'm really meant to write things and have that come to life, and both fiction and nonfiction. And so my ask is, will you hold me accountable to writing a book? And I think I need to get really clear. I have started 2 different books. One's a business book, and one is like I'm haunting people. It's a horror, a fictional horror. So those have started, or like this idea of doing a gift book or coffee table book. I don't know. It sounds so fun. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, when do you have time for that? And you're doing so much in your business. And then I said, that would be fun. It would be fulfilling. It would be creative. And when I have that in my life, that helps me in all other areas of my life too, right? When we have that full cup and we feel the fulfillment and the creativity and the happiness, then we can give more in other aspects of our life too. And so I'm almost doing a disservice to myself and to our retailers and the people in my life by holding that back. And I need to just make the time for it. The hardest part is getting started. I need to make the time, change my schedule, start writing and creating. And I'm asking, when you say things publicly, that's one of the first steps to help hold you accountable. And when I see you guys at Evolve or at markets or in our mastermind platform, maybe occasionally check in and say, hey, Crystal, how's the book coming? I would really appreciate that. And who knows, maybe I'll create something that you sell in your store one day. Wouldn't that be so cool? All right. That is it for After the Show. I hope that you loved this episode as much as I did. I hope you're ready to think creatively. And I hope you go to Evolve. We're getting really close to tickets closing down. March 12th, we stop selling tickets. So get your ticket. Use the code ROOTED to save some money, and you are going to love this experience. And then go talk to Lisa, go talk to, we've got incredible people that are coming, that are speaking, that are sponsoring, that are just going to be in the room. So I hope to see you there. I'll help give you a lot more additional creative ideas for your marketing and for your business. So, and AI ideas. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. So go get your ticket at rootedinretail.com/evolve. And remember that I am rooting for your success. Have a great week ahead. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Rooted in Retail. It means the world to me. A big favor, if you're loving the show, if you could go and leave a review. If you are an Apple listener, you can also leave a comment on Spotify if you listen that way, but that would mean the world to me. And if you're loving these conversations and you want to go deeper, then consider joining us in the mastermind. That's where you can have conversations with me, other community members, as well as speakers and guests that you've seen on this show. So go to rootedinretail.com/mastermind to learn more.